Welcome to another episode of Mind Your Head, because it's the
all
only
you
one.
got.
Okay, of course, as usual with Canary, and today we'll be talking about the back to school anxiety, both for the children and for the parents. Canary,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
A hot afternoon, the kids are back to school.
I do not know how that feels.
But you have relatives, you have friends who,
Yeah. Even kids that I know of course. Yeah. I know they're back to school, but again, I do not know how that feels. The only anxiety I get is every time I know I'm celebrating a birthday, I'm getting closer to back to school.
do you have maybe children that you take care of,
Uh,
contribute to their academic?
I used to, not anymore. Yeah. But again, I know how it feels, but not entirely. It's not. It's not something that I feel every year kids are back to school. Yeah.
The conversation from the uncle perspective. What conversations have you had with these children? Have they shared their experiences at school, probably when they're going back, shared their stories?
Yeah, I used to take care of um, a relative, and I'd be responsible even for taking them back to school.
Okay.
But every time I would it'd get closer to like this, then so do you have everything? Yes. Are you sure you have everything? Yes. And they were in a very, very strict school here in Namgongo. I think it's called Uganda Matters. You're sure you have everything? Yes. Then you reach the school. You miss just one single thing.
And you go
You go back. You've gone through all the traffic for Sunday afternoon in a,
Yeah, and that road
a very
has a
hot
lot of
day.
traffic.
Yeah. But what does it feel like for you?
For me, I think my
What class is
anxiety,
your child?
grade 8 and grade 11.
So grade 8 is what now?
Grade 8, you could equate it to senior 2
Mm.
and then senior 5.
Mm.
Yes. So the anxiety for me, I think, is the separation from these children that you, because we really spend little time with them with the school calendar. So
Yeah.
it's like you're just getting to build that bond again and getting to know them and getting to spend time with them, and then they have to go away.
Do you feel they miss a certain part of parenting because of the school?
Sometimes, though, I try to compensate when they come. Of course, you can't fully compensate because when they're here, you give that part every day.
Yeah.
Unlike when they're away, you have to wait for the holiday time to make up for that time. Yeah.
So at what point does it get real to affect your mental health?
I think
How
it's,
how bad is it?
personally, I'll speak for myself. I don't think it's that bad, but of course, you are affected. As an adult, you learn to deal with it and get on with life. But how to deal with it, I'd say distractions, but also accepting that this is a stage or phase in life that they have to go through. And unfortunately, you may not walk the journey with them for that part, but they'll be back. Yeah. And communicating to make sure that I call them every day, they call me every day, they let me know when they have challenges and how I can help. So it's like they're there almost.
You know the chaos that comes with the kids. Um, it's not that you should be celebrating that they are away, but it's giving you that peace of mind that they're somewhere. One, it's a safe place. Two, it's a place of learning. Three, there are caretakers. Just to let you enjoy you without having to worry about who has broken what glass, who has knocked himself where.
I think you enjoy that for maybe a week, especially for the Christmas holiday because it's a bit long. So they are with you for like a month or a month and 2 weeks. And then when they go, there's that peace and calm. And then you'll start to miss them. Yeah.
Interesting. I wouldn't know. But the part of missing, I think I could relate. I went to cover the war in Ukraine when before my first baby actually made a month. I'd actually just landed in Poland, going to cross over to Ukraine, and then he was celebrating his first month as a baby, coming into the world. I remember I was missing two people here now. You get it.
Yeah.
Also the fact that I'm not there to support. It's
And
like
celebrate this
and
milestone
celebrate
as
this
well.
milestone.
Yeah.
But also I was like, just away for maybe 2 weeks. Will this baby recognize me when I return?
Really? Two
of,
weeks? Uh-huh.
of course, it was, I think, very challenging on the mother's side, the depression, postpartum, and everything. Uh, that doesn't mean that nothing was happening with me too. So I can relate on the part of missing
On the part of
the
missing.
babies. You could be in a different place that you might not have to worry really about some things, but I can relate from parents out there, even from my own experience, looking at my mother while we're trying to get back to school every time the holiday is done. The worry and the anxiety kicks in on on school fees, scholastic material,
Yeah.
the money. It's January, almost ending to February. So, can you relate?
I can relate. I think when the girls were, one was in Green Hill at that time, and the other was at Springdale's. And I think it's just a phase. And for me, that's where we bring in the whole mental health aspect. That for some people will say, you know, the kids are going back to school, so you need to plan financially. Even as we get into the festive season, you know that come end Jan, Feb, they'll be going back.
Yeah.
So ideally, you need to plan for it financially, but it never takes away that pressure. It can never go. I can say you can never be prepared enough. And these days, the requirements from the school are a whole different issue. So it's training. However well you plan it out, you'll still feel the pinch here and there. But I think it's learning to deal with how it affects you, so you're not broken or you don't transfer your, because you see there's also that aspect of me being stressed by the financial strain and putting it out on the children, because the children may also be dealing with their own anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm going to a new school. How do I blend? How will I perform? How will I settle in? Probably it's an all girls school or an all boys school. So they're also dealing with their own, maybe that they will not share depending on the relationship you have with them. So how do you deal with your own stress or anxiety um, regarding taking them back without putting it on them? I think it's accepting, but finding things you do not to put this pressure on the children as well. Yeah.
Well, that's really thoughtful to know that one, the pressure exists, recognize it, but then two, be as careful as possible not to pass it on to the kids. What sort of anxiety could possibly the kids be dealing with
Uh,
that eventually also affects you?
I feel like, first of all, the children, a good percentage are being raised by the maids, because we are both busy, probably the father and the mother are busy. So that connection that is needed to communicate with the parent, to tell them this term or last term, these were my challenges, away from the academic, because some parents also focus more on the academic aspect of the
Yeah.
children being at school. But what challenges are they facing? Maybe this is a girl who is coming from a family where they're only girls, and then she's getting into a mixed school. How does she adjust to that? How is sleeping in a dormitory with, I don't know, 30 other people going to affect her? They maybe you expect as a parent that they'll be okay with it, but maybe they're not. So to create that space where you can actually communicate with the children away from the academic bit about their challenges at school, their friends, how is their relationship with their friends?
Yeah.
Do they feel bullied? Do they feel intimidated? How does that affect their academics eventually? Their space in the dormitories,
I feel like
their teachers.
to ease the tension for like new schools, you'd put both of them in one school.
Yeah, but each one, they're in the same school, but each one has their own experiences,
Yeah.
because they have different friends, they have different teachers, they have different classrooms, they have
Because of
probably
their
yeah, they
age
have
and
different subjects probably, so they'll have different challenges. Maybe they're in the same school, but one is good at math, the other is not. Maybe the other has really good friends that are helping them grow, and the other is involved with. So they could be in the same school, but
that
how?
that doesn't necessarily mean
Yeah.
that they'll connect and
So I think it's
find solutions
communication
to shared
also,
challenges.
to try to communicate with these children, not as a parent, but as a friend.
That's interesting. How do you transition from a parent to a friend? Is it something that is cultivated from when they are young, or is it something that you have to keep working on a daily basis? Because um, if they are, say, grade 8 and grade 11, probably already teenagers or slightly almost, and that is also another stage.
Yeah.
How do you transition?
I can't say, first of all, that it's easy. But I think it's just like marriage. Everyone has their way of doing their thing that works for them. So for me, it was from childhood that they know that I am their mother, but I will also switch to being their friend. And in my different roles, those two roles, I'll never mix them
Or fall short on one
or fall short on one.
because you're trying to be good at the other?
Yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of expectations as well, that I will do my part, but I'll also expect you to do your part. So if I'm being a mother and a friend, and I'm trying to be there for you, being open that you communicate.
You better do.
Exactly.
But they're kids.
They're kids, but you see,
if this is an adult, if it was a relationship, I would understand what you're saying. That, look, I'm doing my best to do this.
Yes.
You better meet me halfway. But they are kids.
They're kids. So what does that mean?
It means that even the power relations are different. You are here. They are here. They are subordinate to you.
Yes.
If it was a relationship, then you're equal.
No, but you keep talking to them, you keep communicating to them, you
Okay.
keep telling them that I am here.
But also not put high expectations that they will actually come through when you actually need them to.
Canary said they're children, so they listen. The more you keep saying it, they will eventually listen. I got a call from my daughter yesterday, and she said, I have something to ask you, but don't get angry. And then she said, so my friends at school are doing their piercings and getting their tattoos. So what do you think of me getting a tattoo?
I'm curious to know what you told me. For someone who has a tattoo.
That's for another day. But
For someone who has a tattoo and has piercings.
yeah, but
5.
the fact that for me, I gave myself my flowers because she opened up to me.
She opened up and,
yeah,
and
like,
actually inquired before she did it.
Yes. Like, what is your opinion? I could find her with a tattoo because everyone else is doing it. But she asked. And she's also asked me, what do you think of me having a boyfriend? Is it now?
She asked you that?
Yes.
How old is she?
She's making 18 in September.
Ah.
Yes.
And what did you tell her?
Canary, we'll have that when we're having the session of Do Not Judge. That one, we'll have it then.
Okay, but at least what did you tell her about the tattoo and piercing?
About the tattoo, I told her that
I think it's not a yes or no answer.
it's not a yes or no answer, but what I've noticed with the children of this generation is you need to give them the why. You can't just say, do not pluck that flower, which they used to tell us, don't do this. And you didn't even have to ask, you just didn't do it. But now if you tell someone, don't do this, you need to give them the why. Otherwise, if you don't give them the why, someone else is going to give it to them. And it may be right or wrong. So I told her that I don't think it's the right time. She can get her tattoo, but not now. Because I gave her my example that I wanted to work as an air hostess. I remember I did an interview with Emirates, and one of the things that disqualified me was my tattoo. So until she's sure of what her journey is or what she wants to do, and that will not affect her in any way, then she can go ahead. So probably
Yeah, but look
after
at you,
uni,
you're biggest female host on television. You never go to Emirates, but you chose another path that you're successful at. So
But at that
does
time,
it matter? And
yeah.
you know how kids think. At that time, it mattered. Yes,
Yes.
something could have gone wrong.
Yes,
You
yes.
could have gotten depressed
Yes.
for years. Yeah, I
But
hear you.
so now I don't know if she's ready to take on what I went through to say, okay, this hasn't worked out, but there's something else.
I feel
right?
like I don't know you. At what point? At what point did you do it? One of the weekends you never showed up at work or what?
No, this
Anyway,
was some back. But
it's,
yeah,
it's good to know.
talking to them, communicating with them, but also them knowing where to draw the line. I'm speaking to you now as your mother, but then I'm also speaking to you. There are moments where I'll speak to you like
As a friend.
yeah. So the conversation about the tattoo was as a friend.
All right, let's
Yes.
take a break. We return with What Were You Thinking? Welcome back to Mind Your Head because,
It's the only one you've got.
yeah, and this is What Were You Thinking? Have you fallen short of parenting
Yes.
as a mother?
So many times.
And what was that one moment that stood out? And what were you thinking?
I feel like you're judging me already. So do I say
I'm actually
this?
asking these questions to learn, but also share my own moment.
Yeah. No, it's still about what I was telling you, and it was my wake up call. My daughter was going, the younger one, she was going through some really challenging moments. I think I mentioned in our earlier podcast
How old is
that
the young one?
she's 13, and she
So most probably is not relationship challenges.
really
One could have inquired whether she can have a boyfriend or not, the other could not have. But it's okay, you don't have to share what it is.
anyway, she was going through some challenges, and one of, I think I mentioned it, Canary, in one of the podcasts. My biggest strength, but also weakness, is being a perfectionist. With that, I think I mentioned it, and you tried to that I will do or try to give you 100%, but I will expect 100% in return,
Yeah.
no matter who you are. So that goes for the children as well. And sometimes it's not like that because, like you said, they're children. But when I don't get that 100%, how do I accept it and help them achieve rather than break them? Because then they'll maybe give me 10% next time. So she was going through some things and she feared to tell me. So she went to someone else. And that broke me because I felt like I had created that bond where they should be able to communicate about
Yeah.
anything, no matter
So
how
you
bad.
felt
or-
like you had not done this the right way? You had...
Yeah, I felt like I had failed, but I also took it as a wake up call for me to do better. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think the time I've felt like I've fallen short is the delay for my baby to talk. He made 2 years, and I had met kids who were ready to and they're talking. Felt like, okay, so why did I not do right? Of course, the mother spends more time with
them.
him, but up to now it bothers me. So at that point, where did I actually go wrong? Did I? Because the mother has to now breastfeed the little one, the little brother to Cairo, and then like, okay, is there a way I could have actually supported or learned from YouTube or asked other parents to say, how do you
Do this,
encourage
yeah.
a baby to start talking? And one of the things I felt comfortable in, which I also felt not good about, but when I realized I felt comfortable and later realized I think I shouldn't have, could be the right thing, could be not, is one of the parents I inquired from and said, no, kids can even not talk until 3. I was like, like, yeah, especially boys. I was like, okay,
It's not on me.
it's not on me. But then, so then I laid that down and left it at that. But then again, when a kid is growing, you have to like constantly keep checking in with yourself. am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Is what I'm doing good for him or her? Yeah.
Yeah. How does it help them?
How does it help them? So while I was into the chaos of what, change the diapers, clean this one, teach him how to eat, feed himself, and all that. It's actually something that you actually did not maybe pay attention to. Yet I felt like this would actually come natural. Yeah.
And do you feel that did that destabilize you in any way? Did you, when you found out that okay, it's okay, every child has their own growth pattern, did you feel calm, or you still felt like I still need to inquire more, I still need to?
So while I was trying to figure out why, for example, he's made two and he's not talking, well, one, I went to his doctor and inquired. The doctor asked a couple of test questions. Does he respond to this? Does he respond to this? Like, no, just give the kid time. He will eventually talk. So while I was trying to make sure I, for example, do a few exercises to also encourage him, the brother was born. And he's little and sensitive and vulnerable. And then I have to give all the attention, at least most of the attention, to his brother. So you can see, as much as there was time to also, I still think, correct what I could not have, where I could have gone wrong. It got worse that time now was even reduced now, taken to the
To the
little brother.
attention
So
was-
yeah. So let us know in the comment section where something has happened during your parenting period and you felt like you had fallen short as a parent. What were you thinking? We'll return after this break. Welcome to Mind Your Head, because it's all you've got. This is a podcast on mental health, and this is our last segment. We're going to do key takeaways here with Sheila Tusiime. Sheila, the key takeaways on how
You have to
to...
mention my second name,
But it's your name.
but it could change anytime.
I'm here with Sheila, Beyonce, Rihanna. Did you watch the Grammys?
A bit.
Okay,
Don't ask why. You promised to take me out on 14th, right?
yes. We're going to go out on 14th. Maybe you, but I'm not going to that other local concert. So if I'm taking out my terms,
Really?
yeah.
But Valentine's is about the woman.
Who said Valentine's about love?
Exactly. To the woman. So, so Canary.
If you take it that way, I hope you find some time to buy something for your person and don't make him feel that it's about the woman.
I ordered. It's ready. Just ready for delivery.
Okay. All right. So, key takeaways. How do you reduce back to school anxiety? What are a few tips you can share with the people watching to reduce anxiety and I would say damage on their mental health? What has worked for you?
What has worked for me is planning. Planning, I'm looking at the financial aspect. That before my Christmas trip was sorted.
Back to school was sorted already?
Yes.
That's...
Right?
So, anyway. But I
So
believe
as you go to
that's so cool, because
Yeah.
it's been... You know why it's hard? It's been a very long year. I know you want to take a trip. And
Yeah.
you're thinking, why don't I just reward myself with this?
Yeah.
Then at the same time, you still have to worry about saving some money for back to school.
But you just plan better.
Big sigh.
You just plan better. That's what has worked for me, is that I know the pressure that comes with January and February, but I don't want to experience that. So if I can even say I will pay half of it,
Just to reduce the burden.
just to reduce the burden. If I can pay those other requirements that need to be paid, maybe to the school, so I'm left with what they need, I'll do that. And then I can see what is left for Christmas.
Can I ask a very sensitive question?
Yeah.
Because we started this podcast and said would share without necessarily
Okay.
breaching confidentiality.
Okay.
But I feel like as a man, I would have more anxiety attacks than you as a woman.
Why? Because you're
Because,
looking for the money.
yeah,
That's on the assumption that, relationships are different. Some people do 50-50, others do 80-30 or 80-20 or 70-30,
yeah,
80-20.
I will not ask the percentage that you do in your relationship.
You want to ask what I bring to the table?
No,
No, I feel...
I think what I want to ask is, these it's about the kids. It doesn't matter how much you bring on the table, how much other person brings on the table, and it shouldn't be important. What is important is that if you don't put whatever you have to put on the table, the kids are not going to go back to school. I feel like it's a stereotype, and I know people are going to react to this, but as a man, I would be working harder to make sure that this happens, close it. Then you worry about having them to
Ready.
be organized and
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
and ticking the other boxes.
But
This is not to undermine
the role of the
the
woman.
role of the woman.
Yeah.
They cannot provide, but there's things that are basic.
Yeah. Away from what I've just mentioned of the 50-50, 70-30, you've heard that the saying that the man is the head of the home and the woman is the neck. Right?
Yeah, and the head cannot exist in the vacuum. It has to be
Yes.
supported.
So much as the man knows that I need to pay fees next year, the head ideally needs to turn. The neck needs to help push it to that direction.
Yeah.
Right? So I may
So-
know
so-
I
so-
have to pay fees.
So as much as you may not necessarily be the one paying, I'm just
Yeah.
as an assumption, you still have to worry about the payment
Yeah,
still.
you
It has to
have-
be made.
Not necessarily worry, but you need to sit down. I know of a couple, in quotes, that has quarterly meetings as a couple.
As in, don't they meet every night after
No.
work?
So in these meetings is where you discuss, these are the activities for this quarter. We have Easter, we have taking kids back, we have...
It's like a business.
Exactly. What are we
So
going
they do a
to...
retreat.
Yeah. Exactly. So that then, if the woman is not pushing enough, if I'm not saying, okay, we are in November, this is the place that we are going, we decided we are going to in December, and this is the cost. This is the cost for first term fees. So I think we do part payment here and based on, and then, so this then pushes the man to, like, she helps organize him and lead him to where,
The family should
yeah.
be. Interesting.
So the pressure is on both. Me, who has to keep reminding you and helping you walk this journey to what we said we would achieve, and then you who actually has to bring this to reality.
A reality.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let us know what actually works for you. Those are very important steps that you've taken. I think we can all learn from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hope I'll continue to also learn from different people and experiences.
Yeah, guys, we want to learn from you. Let us know what works for you. How do you reduce the anxiety of back to school from affecting your mental health and that of your children? This has been Mind Your Head, because
It's the only one you've got.
catch you in the next episode. And, well, you can let us know what you think about this episode by commenting below, or just look up our social media pages to give us some feedback. We do appreciate it.